What does it really mean to store energy? And what exactly is being released when we finally let it go? In the energy filament theory, energy is the total amount of motion the universal energy C is ready to keep relaying. Storing or releasing energy is nothing more than pausing or restarting that relay along a path the C already knows how to follow. Picture that C as a huge line of people stretching farther than you can see. The only job of each person is to tap the shoulder of the person in front once, then relax. As long as everyone follows that rule, a tiny shoulder tap at the back can travel all the way to the front without anyone having to run a marathon or stay tense forever. In this language that can keep going, action is what we call energy. Now change the game slightly and ask what it means to store energy inside something like a rubber band, an excited electron, a raised rock, or a charged battery. In each case, you are forcing some part of the energy C to sit in a position that is more strained and less comfortable than the one it would naturally choose. At the same time, you silently leave open a track back down to the easier state. Stretch a rubber band and you are not pouring some mystical fluid into it. You are dragging the underlying C into a tighter, more twisted configuration and holding it there. In the background, the C has already written a "let me shrivel back" motion into its options. But your fingers are sitting on the pause button so that the return action cannot yet run. Excites an electron into a higher orbit and something similar happens. The ring of circulation is no longer gliding along its most effortless path. Its swirl and tension have been pushed up a notch. There is a very specific move that would let it slide down to a lower, more relaxed orbit. For a while that move is temporarily blocked until a nudge or fluctuation lets the system press play. Lift a stone onto a shelf and you are doing the same thing at a larger scale. You shove a chunk of matter up out of the tension valley that gravity has dug in the energy C and left it perched in a more awkward position. In doing so, you define a simple fall back down route that is available but not yet taken. Charge a chemical battery and you rearrange its internal bonds into combinations that are slightly cramped and uneasy compared to their preferred layout. At the same time, you keep opening the reaction path that would let them snap back into a lower energy pattern. Again, the return motion is scripted, just not allowed to start. All of these different stories share one structure. Stored energy is the amount of organized motion that could immediately be relayed through the C if you stopped preventing it from taking the easy way out. Releasing energy is simply what happens when you stop preventing it. Let go of the stretched rubber band and the shrink back relay races along its path. The band reverts towards its relaxed shape, and the extra motion you held in check sprays out as a flick, a snap, sound and heat in the air and your fingers. Let an electron drop from a high orbit to a lower one and the previously blocked sliding motion suddenly runs. The circulation shifts into a more economical pattern, and the difference in activity is thrown back into the C as the twisted filament of a photon. Drop the stone from the shelf and the fall down the valley route becomes an actual tumble. The configuration that was being held in an awkward state is converted into motion, impacts and ultimately warmth in the ground and surrounding air. Closed a circuit on a battery and the cramped chemical pattern finally gets to relax, sending a training of rearrangements through the materials. What you experience as electric current and heating in the wires is just the stored motion route being allowed to run to completion. Seen this way, there is nothing mysterious about storing or releasing energy and no hidden cargo riding inside objects. There is only the energy C being held away from its easiest arrangement, with a return path quietly pre-written and waiting. The moment you stop holding it back, the already planned relay from strained to relaxed plays out. For a short while the world briefly fills with extra motion, light, sound and heat as the C slips into a more comfortable shape. In one line you can say that energy is motion that can be handed on. Storing energy is pressing pause on that motion while keeping the route ready. Releasing energy is pressing continue so the C can finally take the path it has been wanting to follow all along. Tap follow, share it on New Physics, Clear Universe.